Okay guys, today I want to talk about the community and development team tools. Okay, so what tools do we use to build software? Actually, we have to work together on the source code. How this can be done? What tools do we use? So, on the first place, I would put version control system or source control management. Right now, I'm gonna talk about the Git and the SVN subversion. Okay, so most of the teams right now nowadays are using Git. It's a distributed system versus Subversion, which is a little bit older and actually inherits concurrent version system. Okay, so let me see now. It's a distributed system. The Git is distributed system, opposite to a Subversion, which is a centralized system. What I mean by that? So SVN works like that. Subversion works like that. Okay, let's say we have a developer here. We have one centralized server, and he's committing and updating from a centralized server. Here we have another guy. Of course, the information doesn't go directly to the head of the guy as I draw it here. So here it is, the computer. Here it is his code. So this guy has another code, and he commits and he updates from this central system. If something happens to the central system, we're lost. Okay, so the distributed system Git works differently. Everybody has a complete copy of the repository. This is developer 1, developer 2. Oops. Okay, you'll forgive me the long leg of this guy, I guess. So these guys actually can commit and update from each other repositories. Usually what we do is, even though Git is distributed system, we name one of the system's central system, and usually we host it somewhere. And again, I'm going to use the same word, usually on GitHub, if it's the open source project. And this is our origin repository, we call it origin, and we work this way. We commit an update from this central repository, but it's called central. It's just called central. If something to this repository happens, each one of the players can play the role of the central. Okay, so this is a difference between these two different repository systems, source control management or version control systems. I want to mention the fact that the version control system can be used not only for writing software. This is the best suited, but could be used, for example, if you write books, if you even if you work on Photoshop and you want to keep your work somewhere with different revisions, whatever. So now, of course, we can host Git on our own server, has our own origin repository hosted somewhere. Let's say we have a domain, we have a hosting company, and all we have to do is install Git there and just use this repository as a central, or as I said, origin repository, as we call it, the central one. Okay, so this is one solution. Another one is hosted solutions. Okay, as you can see here in this branch, I have the words. This is the one we're going to use. This is the one we actually use for our project Cool CSN, which is the project for modules of Zend Framework 2 and Doctrine 2. Our system. Here it is, the connection to our system. Okay, so we're going to use the hosted solutions. We don't want to register a domain name. We don't want to use a hosting company just to install Git somewhere on one computer and use it. I prefer to delegate this to somebody else. And there are companies which offer such services. One of them is GitHub, another one is Bitbucket. Those are the most popular. The GitHub is the most popular for the open source software. Some people call this hosting company the social network of the developers. I agree, yeah. Free for public repositories, and if you want to have a private repositories, you have to pay money. Guest, this is another service which Git offers. They have wiki, they have issue tracker. So actually Git, this company, tries to help us developing software, open source developer, open source software, and save us the trouble to install a system which allows us to have issue tracker, wiki, and Git, which is actually a code paste. Okay, Bitbucket. Bitbucket, it's free even for the private projects. So you can have a private project, but collaborators, they use different strategy. If you have up to 15 collaborators, if I'm not mistaken, it's free. But if you want to have more, you have to pay. Okay, so it's free for both private and public repositories. Just invite them by email, easy to collaborate with other members, free up to 15 collaborators. You have to pay for bigger teams, more than 15 people. Issue tracker and wiki, they also have issue tracker and wiki. As you can see, Bitbucket and GitHub actually satisfy most of the needs of the developer. SVN, let me mention this as well. Of course, SVN also can be self-hosted. You buy a hosting from someone. You can buy a domain name. You can have a separate domain name, and you have to take care of the SVN Subversion server, which you install on this machine. But there are hosted solutions as well. Untitled, for example, it was free. Now I don't know. Currently I look at there yesterday, and as you can see, they don't offer the free services anymore. I don't know, and I don't want to know what happened to my projects hosted on Untitled. This is the bad thing about these companies. If they change their policy, you may lose your things. If you self-host it, then you know what's going on actually. The best, of course, is if you have your own data center, but as I do, but this is not possible for everybody. So let's move forward. The best is, as I said, to use the hosted solutions. The people will take care of the updates of the software, let's say SVN server or Git. They will always try to install the latest stable versions for you. Of course, they will try to take care of the servers so they will never be down. And as I said, you don't have to get a domain name. Okay, the next tool probably which we need is a wiki. Just let me go back and just show you our choice. Of course, our system, as I said, is hosted on GitHub. Let me click there and show you the cool CSN project. Those are all modules, those are all different projects hosted on GitHub. And with these modules actually, which are Zen Framework 2 modules, you can build entire web application. Okay, so we will continue working on these projects. Wiki. Wiki is another tool which you need. Probably everybody knows what wiki is nowadays. The most popular, of course, is Wikipedia. As you can see, we don't use wiki only for the software development. We can use it for all areas of our knowledge, of the human knowledge. Of course, again, all project management systems have. Again, can be hosted or self-hosted. If you're gonna self-host it, there are two very nice solutions: MediaWiki, which is the PHP software, and ScrewTurn which is, again, it used to be free. I hope still it is free, open source. I'm not sure for the second one if it's open source, but MediaWiki, I think it's open source. So you just download this free software. As I said, you find a hosting company or you host it somewhere if you have a static IP, or there are other solutions as well in this area. Even if you don't have a static IDE, you register a domain name if you like, and you can have MediaWiki installed there. Of course, you have to take care again for the updates of the software. This is about the self-hosted. I don't wanna go through the hassle of all this download, take care of the updates, the patches, host somewhere, take care of the hosting company, pay for the hosting company, or take care of my own server. So I would prefer to have a hosted free free hosted solution. And as I said, the very well-known companies which offer the SVN, the source control management system, they offer wiki as well. Naming coding standards, for example, can be put in the wiki, and many other things. Documentation of the project. Our system, our solution. Our solution is to have for each one of the modules separate wiki on the GitHub. This is what we prefer to use. So our wikis are connected to our projects on the GitHub. Issue tracker. Okay, so we need issue tracker. If we're going to work as a team, actually we have to know about the issues, we have to follow them, we have to solve them. Okay, so softwares which have issue trackers inside, and they have many other features as well, are Redmine, which is open source, Track, Mantis, which is actually bug tracker, Jira. For Jira we have to pay. Free hosted source control management systems. What do they offer? Again, GitHub and Bitbucket, they offer issue trackers. If you open again our GitHub repository, close CSN. So as you can see, Git and Bitbucket actually try to cover all developers' needs. Okay, CSN user, for example, you click here, you click on the issues, and here we go. This is your issue tracker. So people can report bugs, and you can comment them. Other people can comment. So it's a very good solution. Hosted Redmine. Of course, you can self-host it as well. Maybe I should add this as an option. Self-hosted, and hosted. Our system I will put at the end. So self-hosted, you understand what you have to do. Actually, Track is written on Perl, if I'm not mistaken. Redmine is written on Ruby, so you have to install Ruby or Perl. You have to have them on your own system, on your computer. You download these versions, you install Mantis. I have to check if it's open source. Probably it's open source. Yeah, it is open source, of course. You download it, you install it, and after that you'll have it. This is self-hosted, but as I said, you have to take care of the computer, you have to install a lot of things, you have to take care of all updates, patches, whatever, etc. Hosted somewhere on a data center, eventually by a domain name, whatever. So hosted solutions, hosted Redmine. I like Redmine, it's very popular. I used to use Track a lot, Redmine, I used Mantis as well, Jira. All these solutions are very good, but as I said, hosted solution is it's preferable for me. So, and it's free on top of that. Host Redmine. When I'm saying hosting solutions, I usually mean a free solutions. Jira, for example, Atlassian Jira is not free. So hosted and free. Hosted Redmine. Let's go there. Somebody else is taking care to install Redmine, to run the server, take care of the domain name, so you can use it. You can use it for free. This is hosted Redmine. Of course, these issue tracking systems, they can be used in many different ways, and they contain not only issue tracker. Let me go again to hosted Redmine, and let's look at for one of the projects. Let's look at CoolCSN project, and I'm going to show you what else do they have. They have other features, for example, block. They have here we go, news, documents. By the way, they have wiki as well, so not only GitHub and Bitbucket, but Redmine also offers wiki, files. We can work together on files, all these things. By the way, all these services in internet try to cover all the developer needs. Our system is on hosted Redmine. There you can find a CoolCSN. Bug tracker. Okay. Again, Mantis and Bugzilla. By the way, we are going to meet the same services, the same software all over again when we go through the branches of the tree of this mind map, simply because all these softwares are trying, as I said, and I will repeat again, to cover all the developer needs. So that's why they have wikis, they have block solutions, they have connections, integrations with Subversion, connections and integrations with Git. So, bug tracker. I remember we were using a truck as the issue tracker and Bugzilla as a bug tracker. The difference is very fuzzy between the bug tracker and the issue tracker. Some people say that the bug tracker is for bugs, issue tracker is not only for bugs, so issue tracker includes the bug tracker. I'm not gonna take a side, so I will let you decide. Here it is, a link to the discussion bug tracker. What's the difference between the bug tracker and the issue tracker? So I just will share my experience as a issue tracker. We're using Truck and Bugzilla as a bug tracker. And when somebody reports a bug, it doesn't automatically becomes an issue. The software manager, the project manager, decides if the bug will become an issue. And the issues actually are assigned to different developers and they have to solve the problem. Some people say that the bug, problem and issue are absolutely equal. By the way, I met software teams which are using Mantis as an issue tracker. They don't use anything else. They just run Mantis and that's it. They don't have separated issue tracker and the bug tracker system. This is up to you to decide what to use. What we're gonna use, as I mentioned before, is hosted RedMine. In other words, RedMine, which is hosted somewhere, somebody else. We delegate the hosting to somebody else and taking care of the updates and all this kind of stuff, backups, as I said, everything. Okay, so this is about the bug tracker and the issue tracker. Blocks. We have to have a blocks or news. Again, self-hosted. We can choose to self-host our block. For example, we download the free WordPress software, which is written on PHP, and in our hosting company we can install it. Hosting companies actually have a control panel which makes it very easy to install WordPress. Okay, so I prefer hosted solutions. One of them is Blogger. Google offers proprietary software, which of course is not open source, and they offer this service. You can go and create your own blog on Blogger, which is a Google service, and start posting. WordPress. On their website as well, you can go and create a blog under their domain name, so you will get a subdomain name. Nubble. This is one very interesting site full of features. Start a free forum, for example, mailing list, archive mailing list, create photo gallery, create news, newspaper, and start a blog, as you can see. Nubble, and many others which I'm not gonna touch right now. I'm just concentrating on the tools which nowadays we use. Do we need so many tools? I don't know. I cannot answer this question. I wish we can build software together and we don't need so many tools, but it's only me. Of course, I want to have something simpler. Maybe we'll come to this point anyway. Many different kind of websites and media we're using. Okay, I'm tempted to mention them. First is a website. Usually we use the content management systems for websites. The second is a blog, WordPress for example, PHP bulletin board, which is a forum, and another forum which we use is a wiki. Okay, do we need, as we said, so many? I cannot answer this question. Maybe we'll figure out something which is universal and we will use it. I'm just reflecting the current situation, the current state of the art. Okay, what we're gonna use, as I said, I prefer the hosted solutions because everything is delegated to somebody else, and I'm using the Google. I just started a blog on Google, so that's why I just continue. coolcsnblogspot.com. I could have the same blog on WordPress. There are constant pros on both solutions, hosted solutions, WordPress and Google. I just started Blogger and that's it. It just happened this way. It's organically growing, in other words. Okay, Nabal. Is it better? Is it worse? All they have pros and cons. Okay. Instant messaging. Of course, we need instant messaging to communicate. And as you can see with stars, I marked the version control system and the instant messaging system. Why instant messaging is so important? Because to collaborate we have to be able to communicate somehow. And instant messaging makes this easy for us. Here it is, our system. My final solution was to use the ERC channel on freenode.net, this ERC network, and the channel is called Cool CSN. This is the long story short. I just want to touch, of course, this problem about the social networks and instant messaging, so I have created a separate mind map and I have a separate video which is 10 minutes long, in which I just touched the topic about creating social networks. How can we create a social network with the modern tools, and also what instant messaging do we have. What we were using Skype, TeamViewer, Facebook, Google Plus, instant messaging, microblocks, Facebook, microblocks, instant messaging. They added instant messaging later. TeamViewer, which allows us to have a voice chat. Skype, which started as a voice chat communication, and after that they added instant messaging. Main tool for communication, voice, screen share, no screen share on conference calls. TeamViewer, we can have screen share manipulation. Here we can manipulate the computer of the party. Voice chat, conference calls. Facebook is very popular. Google Plus, Hangouts. I'm using a Hangouts on air very often. YouTube and blogs. Blogger, WordPress. I already touched these topics. Okay, so this is what we were using now. Let's look at the instant messaging. This is an instant messenger. TeamViewer also can be looked at in a way as an instant messenger. Facebook, also instant messenger. Google, instant messenger. This is a social network. Blog can help us to create a community. YouTube, what did they say? YouTube can be used for building a community and social network. Blog also is some kind of a social network. Facebook, of course, is the most popular social network. So instant messaging, social networking, blogging, everything is concentrated around these things actually to build a community. Okay, let's look at the instant messaging. Okay, I'm gonna touch some of them. ICQ. This is the first one I remember, but before ICQ I have to mention that I remember the ERC, Internet Relay Chat, created 1989 if I'm not mistaken. I have it here, 1988 actually, for Finland universities. It was very widespread in Finland, and after that took off, and actually it's very popular everywhere. ICQ, AOL Instant Messenger, Yahoo Instant Messenger, Microsoft Network, Skype, another instant messenger, Facebook, Google now implemented instant messaging, Google Plus, Jabber, XMPP. This is another protocol which comes to replace actually IRC probably. It's a protocol like IRC. IRC alternative, I put a question mark because is it gonna replace IRC? I don't know. Software. Servers, clients, web clients. Here it is, the link to the organization XMPP. It's known as XMPP. First was known as Jabber. So this protocol is widely used around the globe in the software teams for instant messaging and building software. So this is about the instant messaging. As I said, if you want to look at why did I choose IRC, go ahead and look my previous lesson. Let me go back to our initial mind map, and let's continue further. Okay, so what else do we need? Instant messaging. What if you cannot hang out all day long in the chat rooms? Okay, then you can use a mail list or a forum. It's a very convenient way to keep your fingers on the pulse of the project from your mailbox. Self-hosted again, open source software. Mailman is the industry standard. It's absolutely free open source, which allows you to build mail lists or discussion groups. PHP bulletin board, another software written in PHP. It's very easy to build a forum. I haven't used it as a mail list, of course, and I cannot claim that it can be used as a mail list. Probably can. Hosted solutions, as I said, I always like to use hosted solutions because I delegate the software updates, installation, troubles to somebody else, hosting, backups, all this kind of stuff. So, who is offering such things? Nabble, I showed it to you already. They offer a block as well. Google Groups. This is, by the way, my choice. Google Groups. Yahoo Groups, Facebook. Of course, Facebook is not so much oriented for developers, so that's why we're not using it. Our system, our choice is Google Groups. I was thinking about using Nabble and their mail services, mail list services. Actually, the choice was between Google Groups and Nabble, and finally I decided to use the Google Groups, even though a lot of pros and cons using Google Groups. Nabble, for example, under the hood is using Mailman, which is the software which is almost industry standard. It's very well integrated also in your own site if you like to have integration. Google Groups as well is integrated, but Google Groups is using proprietary software, of course. It's not easy to export if you decide to move. For example, jQuery, John Resick moved jQuery from Google Groups because of the spam. I hope they took some measures against the spam right now, Google. Nabble, you're in charge with Nabble, as I said, because under the hood they use Mailman. In any case, my choice was Google Groups. So if you want to join our group, you just hit this link and you can join our group. Our system is on Google Groups. Here it is, the link to Cool CSN Google Groups. But this is the place where the discussion can be started and go on. Okay, so forum. File share. There is a WebDAV standards. Here it is. Briefly, WebDAV standards for web-based distributed authoring and versioning. It's a set of extensions to the HTTP protocol which allows users to collaboratively edit and manage files on remote web server. That's it. Again, remote server. You can use it somewhere. You can delegate this to someone else. WebDAV. I used to use WebDAV on hostedprojects.de or .com, which doesn't exist anymore. So I had their track system, issue tracker. We had Bugzilla for a bug tracking, and we have WebDAV. Of course, track offers wiki as well, and very well integrated. It's integrated with Subversion. Okay, whatever. So WebDAV. Now the cloud drives. They offer interesting opportunities, so my choice is to use the Google Drive. Okay, so let's put here our system. Our system is choosing Google Drive. That's all I want to say, and I share the documents with the guys which are interested. Okay, emails. Probably I should mention the mind maps as well, which is not here in the mind map. Mind maps. And in first place, of course, I want to mention Mind42, which I'm using right now, and MindMeister. I'm a little bit disappointed from Meister because they might multiply by 0 my efforts to create maps. I lost branches, I lost a lot, but maybe it's my fault because I have using a huge mind maps. In any case, let's continue now. So emails, everybody has email. Of course you can have emails under your own domain if you're using a hosting company and if you bought a domain name, but in my software team I prefer to use the email addresses and not care about the email addresses myself. I prefer to use the email addresses of the developers. So everybody is free to create the email account on Google, Yahoo, Hotmail, whatever. So code share. We have to be able to share code. So one interesting solutions are code paste, for example. You can go there and paste bin, and the one which I'm using is Git. Git, again, the very well-known service, is using is offering Git as well. So you put the description something, you copy and paste your code, so you'll have a library of code snippets which you later can use and share with other guys. A lot others. And also they're very useful. For example, if you're in a chat room, this is very important. Probably I forgot to mention the fact that we are using actually in our system, we're using the chat room cool CSN mail list. Oh, not here, of course. Our system is on, I mentioned that, on cool CSN channel on freenode.net. So if you want to join it, you just go to webchat freenode.net, choose your nickname. For example, mine is wingman007, and you choose the channel cool CSN. Cool CSN. You have to type the captcha, which I'm not gonna do right now, and you're in freenode.net channels. I have a separate lection how to register your nickname if you like very much your nick and you want to build your reputation based on this nick. Okay, so file sharing I touched already. Emails you have to have, of course, every one of your team should have an email. Code share I touched as well. Now other I think not less important, but they will become more and more important, are the cloud-based IDEs, which offer, for example, repository, integrated solution about the repository. They offer passes, connection to the passes, very well integrated with passes, different passes. Google Application Engine, for example, and many others. Cloud9, CodeNV, they changed the way we develop software, because you can share even the workspace which you're using right now to type something. Your colleague can see what you're typing and change directly the text which you're typing, the code you're typing. So it's very interesting. It's worth looking these projects and following them. YouTube is actually another form of blog. So, but you're not publishing words, you're publishing videos. So that's why I prefer YouTube. Our system, CoolCSN, actually has a channel, and the channel is YouTube CoolCSN. That's all. And I put a link directly to the English movies, to the playlist with the English videos. So my English-speaking audience actually can watch it directly. My other audience, which are Bulgarian students, they can benefit of chatting with me on Bulgarian. They can get the link. Website for the project. Of course, you can have a website for the project. Again, self-hosted. You can use one of the content management systems, Joomla, Drupal, WordPress, whatsoever. There are so many that I don't want to count all of them. You have to go to a hosting company, buy a plan, for example. The best and the cheapest I have ever found is namecheap.com. There are a lot of reviews about the hosting companies. They also play the role of the registrars, so you can register your domain name, so you can have your own domain name. You have hosting company. You have to take care, of course, for updating the Joomla, Drupal, or WordPress. If you go this way and install one of them yourself. The hosting company, as I said, usually have a control panel, which makes it very easy to install one of those softwares and keep them up to date. And of course, you don't have to buy a domain. You can use a subdomain if you don't mind, and you can have a hosted solution, which is a GitHub Pages. For example, on GitHub, again the same very well-known service, you can have a page. Not only keep your code there, not only keep your code snippets there, not only have your issue tracker, not only have your wiki there, you can have also the pages. So GitHub really is a very, very good solution. No wonder why it's #1, I think, for the developers. Place for the developers to share their code. Advantages: no need to download and take care of the software, no need of hosting company, no need of domain. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. You enjoyed, and I will create more videos, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Bye.